Hello and welcome, my name's Ian, Handyman Plus fan. So, what is on the agenda for a typical day as a handyman? So, customers go to my website and they book me in for 3-hour sessions. At the moment, I am really struggling to get back to everybody, so my apologies on that front. I'm currently booked up until January 2026, and today's date, what is today's date? Is Monday the 6th of November. So that's about 3 months booked up. Solid. Which is both a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously for customers who are desperately, they have an emergency call out, there are guys out there in Swindon that do an amazing job for that, so definitely contact them. I'm not an emergency service. I don't do emergencies of any sort, and that's something to bear in mind when booking me. I mean, most of the time customers book me for sort of general maintenance, especially with doors and windows at this time of year. People want them to shut properly, so I replace hinges and things like that. I think tomorrow afternoon I'm doing a back door, replacing a lock that's stuck in the lock position, so the door's locked, so that's going to be good. So I'm going to have to lock pick that open and then repair it, so that'll be interesting. So this morning I've got a job where I'm replacing air bricks. So air bricks are at the bottom of a house and they allow the flow of air into the cavity, which is really good. It stops the moisture from building up, and it just allows the house to breathe. So these air bricks, the customer has had some sort of vermin eating through them, mice, rats, not sure what it is, but I'm just there to replace the plastic air bricks. So the original ones are plastic and I'm just replacing them with plastic. So it's a case of drilling out the old ones and then putting in the new ones using the correct mortar, and obviously trying to color match to get the perfect color as best as possible for when we put the new vent in. So there's 2 of those to do, and I've got 3 hours to do that, and then he also wants me to look at a soffit, so I'm just going to see how much time I've got when I'm doing that. And then the next one in the afternoon is putting up some curtains. That's my most common job, is putting up curtains, putting up shelves. It sounds easy, but there is a lot of science that goes into putting up a curtain rod or putting up a shelf, and there's a lot that you have to do in order to achieve that. You have to make sure, like everything, you've got good foundations, that the wall you're going into is got the capacity to hold the weight, because sometimes when people build extensions or they do things, or they don't necessarily build things correctly or to code, and so sometimes you're going into properties where the walls themselves are not actually correct, and those things have been around since like the 1950s or whatever, and so you can't always like hang something on that wall, because why would you? So everything has to be done to code, and everything has to be done perfectly, and that's what I do. So I'm going to do some pictures after this little talk that I'm doing now, and then you just sort of like see the sort of like thing, because I don't really have much time to film, because obviously I'm getting paid by the hour, so I'm not going to just stand around for like 10 minutes filming things, because obviously the customers that are paying me were like, hang on a minute, we're not paying you to film, and to make a YouTube documentary on what you do. So no, I just take a few quick photos. Obviously it's really important that if you're in the trade to take before and after photos, not just for social media, but also to document what you've done, because it's important, because it's really important to have that record of evidence So if a customer comes back and goes, well, you never did this, and you'll be like, well, yes I did, here it is. I've never had that before. All my customers are beautiful, which is nice. And yeah, it's sometimes I'm just like painting. That's probably like quite a common sort of request, especially sort of like stairways. So in properties, especially in the UK, you have like a central stairway which goes up, and to reach the top corner and to paint inside that, you've got to have specialized ladders, and I've got all those. So that's why customers just employ me. I just tick the little box that says working at heights, and then I'll work at heights and do jobs like that. So that's fun. But later on this week, I'm going to be doing some carpentry work in a kitchen. So it's going to be really highly accurate joining work that I'm going to be doing. So I do a lot of different types of jobs. So today, while I'm waiting for my van to heat up, it's nice just to make these little videos, because I kind of get time to talk to you guys about what I actually do, and what, you know, because there's so many different things that a property needs from day-to-day maintenance. Sometimes it's just readjusting a front door. Other times it's like readjusting windows, and all of these little things, they all add up. Also loft insulation as well, that's another thing that I do. So to insulate your typical loft generally takes about 6 hours of my time, and about, for the typical sort of like 3-bed semi-detached house or typical sort of house, it's between 150 to 200 pounds in material. So you can buy the material yourself if you've got a giant van, or you can just reach out to me and say, Ian, I want to insulate my loft. I'll send you an invoice out for the materials. You just go onto my website and just book a time that suits you, and then obviously book like 6 hours. So like book a morning and afternoon would be best. And then I just turn up and insulate your loft. That's something that I do quite a lot of. I do other sort of like loft work as well. I don't touch anything structurally. I don't touch anything that's gonna basically I don't do any jobs where there's any sense of risk of like you know, any risk. Basically, I don't touch any jobs that are risky. That's it. So even sort of working from heights now, because I used to do jobs where I was like crawling around on sloping roofs, and now I don't do that. I'll do it if there's scaffolding, and I'll do it if it's a proper job. But even the weight of me, you can't be over 16 stone and work on top of a roof, especially the old roofs, because they're slightly rotten, they're slightly this, so you need to be like 15.5 stone to work on a roof. And I'm a big guy. I'm about 17.5 stone, so I don't work on sloping roofs because most roofs wouldn't hold my weight, and that's just been realistic. Because building regs in the olden days were designed that 1 inch of a roof could sustain and support 16.5 stone. That's how it used to be. But obviously, as a roof gets older, there's my WhatsApp just flashed up to say, you have 46 messages. I'm just like, oh, okay. I'll try and get back to you guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, even now people are messaging me, and I'm just really grateful. Thank you so much for messaging me. Thank you so much for taking the time off messaging me. I'm in two minds of whether just to like push a button and let my AI just talk to you guys, but I've done that before in the past, and the problem with AI is it lies. It doesn't always know the information because there's a lot of different information. And so I like to actually take the time of read the message myself, and also I use AI to formulate a response. It'll go, this is what I think we should send, boom, and then I read through it and go, nah, I don't think so. But every time I do that, obviously it's learning, which is good. So I've got my own little AI bot running on a little server at my property, and I'm training him up. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to see how that goes. Yeah, so if you do have any questions, feel free to ask me anything, and I'll try to respond. Yay, take care, have a beautiful day, and let's hope we get a little bit of sunshine today, because what is the temperature? 13 degrees. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Wow, 13 degrees. The summer's gone, hasn't it? We've lost the heat. It's back to the miserable British weather where everyone's miserable. Long live misery. No, on a serious note, there's a lot of people struggling out there right now, and you can just feel it. You can feel it in, like, when you go shopping or driving on the road where people are acting like complete lunatics. You're just like, why are you driving like that? Oh, there's a new thing at the moment, where these like YouTubers, what they'll do, because I was driving to Birmingham at the weekend, what they do is they do this thing where they just like narrowly miss your vehicle, and they sort of like, I don't know whether it's called skimming or something, or rimming, I don't know, but they just like sort of weave in between traffic, and then they upload it to like their YouTube community, and because it gets like hits and likes, and it's like way interesting, far more interesting to listen to them or watch them drive around like lunatics than listen to an old guy like me yabber on. They sort of like, they get a lot more clicks and a lot more likes, and obviously it makes money. And if it makes money, it makes sense. But you know, there's people that have been killed with these lunatics driving around like idiots, and obviously the number plates are not real either. So just, yeah, when you are on the roads, just watch out, because the world is crazy, really crazy, and just seems to be getting worse, not better. Hopefully we invent something that's going to sort this out, but who knows what's going to happen. It's very exciting. Yeah, but so if you do have any questions, just leave me a little message. But if you can be anything, be kind, because when you meet someone down the street, if they are acting like a lunatic, the chances are they probably are, and they probably just need like help, and so just being kind to like a person. So I'll give you an example. Like when my neighbor moved in, left a message on the car saying, oh, this is my parking space, but it's not, because like it wasn't. It's complicated, but basically you get a parking space where you are, because obviously I live in like the middle of Swindon, and parking's like a nightmare. So you get like a set parking space, but I just sent a really nice message saying, oh, it's not, you know, on this, and this is how it is. And that could have gone really sour, and obviously you could have a neighbor that hates you, but you know, I have a neighbor that loves me, and I love him. He's awesome. And it's just really nice. And so like the energy you give out is the energy you get back. And so all of my customers are beautiful because I'm beautiful, like a flower. And if you're still watching, you're probably like one of the rare few people that actually watch all the way to the end, because I think it's like maybe one or two. If my mom was alive, she would probably watch all the way to the end. But yeah, we're about 14 minutes now, so I'll stop boring you guys and just say I love you guys, especially if you've watched all the way to the end. Oh my gosh, you're like probably like my #1 fan, probably my only fan. Well, take care, have a beautiful day, and yeah, be kind. See you soon.